Wow, it's time to kick off another brand new week here at the Steve Gruber Show. I'm glad you had the time to show up here after a big weekend that I'm sure you just had. The weather was pretty good most of the places. A few rainstorms here and there, but by gosh, it was a good one, wasn't it? Glad to have you back on track with us here as we discuss all the major things going on in the world. It's a chance to fight for you from the foxhole of freedom. And here we go, folks, rolling into another big day. Number one of the three big things. The Supreme Court ruling on Friday tore back the curtain on activist judges, really exposed Kentanji Brown Jackson as a lightweight and someone at odds with her colleagues across the board at SCOTUS. Number two, in a move that should really come as no surprise, North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis announcing he will not be seeking re-election after crossing President Trump on several big issues, including the big, beautiful bill. And number three, speaking of that, President Trump calls it the big, beautiful bill, and critics like Elon Musk called it a nightmare, a disaster, but the legislation or whatever is left of it is crawling through the Senate. The sad thing is, no matter what side you find yourself on, we've crossed $37 trillion of federal debt. $37 trillion. This legislation apparently does little or nothing to turn it around. Understand that. It does little or nothing to turn around the debt, the deficit, the spending. The bill is, well, it has a long way to go, but it cleared a key hurdle over the weekend after Chuck Schumer and the Democrats forced the entire bill to be read out loud, which took something like 16 hours to complete. Nobody listened, of course. It was a stall tactic. But beyond the theatrics, it did get through 51-49 on the procedural vote. Today, I want you to hear from several different voices, as many as possible. The sensible, the screwballs, yes, some sober comments as well. And concerning the scare tactics of the Democrats, we have this. Congresswoman Mary Miller of Illinois, who's been here a couple of times recently, says the Democrat scare tactics are only that, and that the Republicans are protecting Americans. Listen.
Whenever Republicans try to take necessary steps to preserve these essential programs to meet the needs of the most vulnerable Americans, the Democrats start playing their broken record that we're going to starve babies, children, pregnant women, that we're going to throw people off Social Security, Medicaid. No, we want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. We want people that are ineligible for these programs to be removed. And we are taking the necessary steps to preserve these programs so they're available for the people that need them, the most vulnerable Americans.
Question is, can we salvage any of this? $37 trillion, right? I thought the point of no return was about $25 trillion. That's a long time ago now, isn't it? I thought that was pretty much the point of no return. And maybe it was. In the Senate, an outspoken supporter of President Trump says this bill is in the bag. It's going to make it. Senator Markwayne Mullin says the big, beautiful bill is going through despite the complaints, despite the naysayers, despite the pushback. Here's what he said.
Listen, Kristen, the hardest part was getting on the bill. What we mean by getting on the bill is once we pass the House version, which is what we passed last night, then we put our amendments on it and we go into debate. Although right now there's a stall tactic, obviously, by the Democrats. They're making them read page by page, which I think is great. I hope the American people pay attention to it. I hope the Democrats pay attention to it, because it's going to be very hard for them to argue about what this actually does. This cuts spending. It's the largest deficit cut by any Congress ever in history. It makes tax cuts permanent, which instead of taxes going up January 1st by $4 trillion, it actually restores the tax cuts. And it's going to, the average household of four is going to bring home pay over $10,000 more a year this year than they did last year. So that is great. I hope the Democrats pay attention to it and realize we're delivering for the American people. But once that happens, we go into a 20-hour debate. Then we're going to do the vote-a-rama, and we're going to pass this bill. And we're very confident we have the votes to do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll certainly see. And the question is, what, going back to Mary Miller, all these things are called essential. They call everything essential. The essential things for the American people. Don't want to get rid of this for the American people and that. Something has to go, or there's going to be nothing for the American people. Nothing for America to offer its citizens. But the left will not let this go easily. They want to scream from the mountaintops that we will all lose. The dishonesty of the left knows no end. They keep trying to scare everyone. Here's Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota spreading fear far and wide about things are going to be taken away from you. You're going to lose all of it. Listen.
What does this bill do? It kicks 16 million people off their health care. 16 million people off their health care. In order to finance tax cuts for the wealthiest, in order to give multimillionaires a $400,000 tax cut, that doesn't make the world a better place. Adding $4 trillion in debt, $1 trillion of it is interest, which is going to make mortgage rates go up. It's going to make harder for young people to be able to maybe get their first house or pay their rent. It's putting it on their backs. It's putting it on their shoulders. That's why I don't see this as a big, beautiful bill. I see this as a big, beautiful betrayal of the hardworking people of this country.
Yep, that's what it is, big, beautiful betrayal. You see, one of the things that this bill does is it stops payments to illegal aliens. That part did make it through. The money that came through and the money that's going to be stops money for illegal aliens on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the SNAP program. All of that's going to be pushed back in favor of American citizens. Freshman Senator Tim Sheehy of Montana says the bill does a lot of good in his estimation. Here's what he says.
We also have a border crisis, which has largely been solved, but now we still have issues remaining from that we want to make sure we can have enough agents doing national enforcement. We want to make sure we can complete the border wall. That issue is not just going away. We've solved it for now, but that can return later. We also have certainty for our business environment that we want to provide a tax rubric that is certain and predictable. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 is going to be made permanent with this bill. The sooner we can give certainty to our business environment, to our investment ecosystem, the sooner we're going to see a lot of that investment come back. We've already seen tremendous investment that the president's brought back, but a predictable tax regime is key for long-term investment in this country. Things like equipment expensing, R&D expensing, no tax on tips. A lot of these policies are very focused on specific sectors of our population, our economy, and make sure we're unleashing working-class job growth and also small business growth. The sooner we do that, the better it is for the economy.
Well, there's Tim Sheehy of Montana. We'll get back to all of this. It's incredibly important. Could your health issues be caused by something you can't see? Fatigue, bloating, brain fog? What if parasites are the real culprit? I was thinking of parasite cleanses when I came across a video from a trusted doctor who mentioned all of this. The doctor said ivermectin and mebendazole are two powerful anti-pathogens, but what's even more fascinating, these medications are frequently used in oncology to treat cancer patients. They have anti-pathogenic properties that stunt the growth of harmful invaders, even have the potential to slow down abnormal cell growth. 60 million people have parasites in this country, but you can join the movement to get rid of them. They can slow you down, give you brain fog, make you feel lethargic, just not feel good at all. The wellness company has a solution, ivermectin and mebendazole. It's the best thing out there. It's the hottest thing going. TWC.health/Gruber. You'll save $60 right now and get free shipping. Check it out. TWC.health/Gruber. One of the people opposing the big, beautiful bill, as it has been nicknamed, Thom Tillis of North Carolina, announced over the weekend he will not be seeking re-election in the United States Senate, which is probably best because he couldn't win. Thom Tillis is out. It means some other Republicans are going to be jockeying for the opportunity, as will Democrats. But I would say that North Carolina is a pretty safe Republican Senate seat unless something goes completely sideways, which point there could be problems in North Carolina, but I doubt it. Let me continue on now. Look, the parliamentarian took big chunks out of this bill. Oh, this doesn't count, that doesn't count. Some of it got back in, some of it, but most of it, no. John Thune has not stepped up as the Republican leader of the United States Senate to take control. He could get rid of the parliamentarian, could, hasn't. Here's President Trump, by the way, going to bat for his legislation and its provisions. Listen to this.
Look, it's a great bill. It's a massive tax cut. If it's not approved, your taxes will go up by 68%. Think of that, 68, a record, the highest in the history. The Democrats won't approve it only because politically it's so good for the Republicans. The Democrats aren't approving it. But think of what they're not approving. They're not approving border security. We've done a great job at the border, but we have to add some wall. We have to do, various things. We have no money for that. We have no money for the border. We have no money for so many things. But if the Democrats, it'll be interesting to see if we get any Democrat votes. We should. If I were a Democrat, I would absolutely, maybe Fetterman, because he seems to be the most sensible one lately. If I were a Democrat, I would vote for this bill all day long because it's tax cuts and so many other things that are common sense. They're basic things. I think they're doing fine.
Yeah, I think they're doing fine, but he's not really sure. One last comment to weigh in on this before we move on to some other things this morning. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne supports the big, beautiful bill. Here's what she says about it. Listen in.
This is Beth Van Dyne. I represent the great state of Texas, District 24. I'm excited about this one big, beautiful bill. This is something that we've been working on for over 2.5 years in Ways and Means. We're not on small business. I'm on the Small Business Committee, and we have had small businesses in every single district, in every single industry, tell us how important that this bill is to the continued success of their businesses. In fact, some have said that if we do not extend some of these provisions, they're going to have to shut down. Also, being a Texas representative, what's really important to me is making sure that we have a secure border. And this bill gives the resources that Tom Homan and Kristi Noem need to be able to keep our borders safe, to keep our communities without the infiltration of the 20 million people who have entered our country illegally in the last 4 years. We've got to pass this bill.
Yeah, there you have it. So you got people on all sides. Adam Schiff, one of the biggest critics of this bill, which means it's probably better than it looks. If Adam Schiff says it's bad, I think that's probably pretty good. All right, so while that's all going on, we'll keep an eye on that on Capitol Hill today. In the next hour, we're going to talk about Mamdani, Zoran the Moron. We'll talk more about Zoran the Moron in New York City. New York City, if you elect this guy, you deserve everything you get. Of course, he's making promises he has no way of keeping. But right now, he makes the mayor of Chicago look like a smart guy. Good Lord. All right, so other things going on you need to know about. Canada caved in. Canada caved in. You see, Canada wants to tax all these big tech companies, Google and X and Facebook and all of them, maybe to the tune of $3 billion. And so Donald Trump said, look, here's where we are on it. He called it an attack on America, suspended all trade talks with Canada Friday. So we're done with all trade talks until further. Either you figure this out or we're done. Canada folded yesterday. Canada announced Sunday night it was suspending a tax on U.S. tech firms. The Canadian government said it was suspending enforcement of the tax that was due to be collected starting today, saying the action was taken in anticipation of a mutually beneficial comprehensive trade arrangement with the United States. Prime Minister Mark Carney informed the Trump administration of the decision, and the two sides plan to resume trade talks about July 21st. So Mark Carney folds again, plays a tough guy, and then when it gets down to it, down, gone, folds. Later, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's something. Look, when you look at what Donald Trump's world vision is, you look at trying to stop the war between Iran and Israel, which so far that ceasefire is holding. A lot of satellite imagery right now of Fordo and the other areas that were hit by those bunker buster bombs. The damage was significant. Some people say, well, it's only going to stop Iran for a few months. Well, if that's true, why is that a bad thing? If it slows down Iran by 6 or 8 or 10 months, that's a win. I don't care who you are. That's a win for this administration, for this country. For peace in the Middle East, that is a win. There's no other way around it. But there's a problem. You see, you can't negotiate with these mullahs and the Islamic extremists that run Iran. You can't look at it the way you did the Cold War, that's for sure, because it's a different group of people. We'll be talking about that coming up as well. But what I was going to get at is the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda on Friday signed a peace deal facilitated by Donald Trump. They signed a peace deal. Why is this important? Because they've been warring for 30 years. They've been at war for 30 years. And the Trump administration showed up and got a peace deal after a 30-year war. That's who these people are. If Donald Trump doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, nobody deserves to ever get that thing again, ever. The agreement was signed at the State Department's treaty room beneath the portrait of Colin Powell, the first African-American to hold the job of top U.S. diplomat. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called it an important moment after 30 years of war. Congo has been racked with conflict, more than 100 armed groups, the most potent backed by Rwanda, that have killed millions since the 1990s. Well, that war is finally over. Thank you, Donald Trump, for bringing that to a close. Because if these are the headlines you might not even collect or catch. That's why I'm here for you. Want to make sure you're informed. Welcome here, by the way. Make sure you can always watch us on YouTube, X, Facebook, live every day for you. Live every day in all these places. Never miss a minute on social media with The Steve Gruber Show.